All right, today I'm going to give you 8 reasons why your karate is not traditional. A lot of schools, they say they're traditional schools or non-traditional schools. And I guess by traditional, you see the traditional white uniform and a lot of bowing and a lot of things like this that are going on. Today I'm going to give you some thoughts, some things to think about traditional and what it is. And I'm going to speak specifically as traditional as karate was done on Okinawa, where it developed. And I guess traditional often means like following a specific method that was done kind of toward the beginning of the system. And I guess the first question that you have to ask is traditional when? Traditions change over time. So, for example, if, Christmas. So Christmas trees are now traditional, but they weren't always. The family structure changes over time, you know what I mean? And what's traditional looks different, the big families to the smaller families now, for example. Things like that. Everything, the tradition, what we consider traditional now depends on what time frame we're referring to, basically. So the first thing that wasn't traditional, that is not traditional in karate, is roundhouse kicks. If you look at all the old Okinawan kata, there were no roundhouse kicks. No roundhouse kicks were done. Jesse Enkamp has a good video on this and talks about how when karate came to Japan, how they developed they put in roundhouse kicks from Savat. And he has good information on that. But yeah, roundhouse kicks, they are not in any of the old traditional kata. And also, even if you look at the first picture of someone doing a roundhouse kick was Gichin Funakoshi's son, and he's doing it on basically a bag, kicking it with the ball of his foot. And most people did use the ball of the foot too. And then that transitioned, to a lot of people kicking with the top of the foot. But that came in the 70s when people started using foot pads. So anyway, roundhouse kicks, not traditional. Also related, a second thing would be hook kicks. You don't see those in any of the old Okinawan kata. Or spinning kicks, jumping kicks, flying kicks. Those things are not what we would consider traditional, which a lot of people consider traditional today. Prior to karate coming to Japan, you did not see those things, but they're considered traditional now by many. Grappling. There was grappling in karate. In Okinawa, they had a thing called tegumi, which was their grappling method. But even in things like the kata, like what Shotokan calls Heian Sandan or Pinan or Pyongan Samdan, that's considered a grappling or throwing kata, the applications to it by a lot of people. But there was defenses against grabs, and it was a very close-in fighting, the kata, the applications or the bunkai were for that. But you don't see that so much today. It's, just strike and block art nowadays. So grappling used to be in there, but your striking karate isn't a full traditional system, basically. No sport. So in Okinawa, where karate developed, it was not done as a sport. It was done as one-on-one self-defense. And when you look at the applications, you'll see that. And when you wonder why your kata are not related to your sparring that you're doing, that's why. Because your sparring is modern karate, and your kata, most likely, is old karate. So that's why. These next three, the last three, are pretty related, but group classes are not traditional. People lining up, that's another thing. Lining up by ranks from highest to lowest, saying things like, yes, sir. Those things are not traditional and weren't done. Back in the day, in Okinawa, the training was more one-on-one or very small group, and it was individualized like that. This group thing came when karate went to Japan. And it became more when it went to Japan about, like, making strong people, health, making them strong for the military, and things like that. That was how it was promoted when it was brought to Japan, so that it could, continue and grow. And if it had stayed in Okinawa, it probably would have died out, or no one would have known about it. But so pluses and minuses, but group classes, saying yes sir, lining up by rank, all of that stuff, not really traditional if you're looking at the way it was done in Okinawa. So hopefully that gives you some information. Tradition is what it is, I guess. You can call it traditional if you want, but I just wanted to give you some information on, how it was done in its beginnings, and how what we think is traditional isn't really necessarily how it was done in the original art. So, and we could have even gone back farther, the karate in Okinawa came from the martial arts of China. So you could go back even farther. It probably, you can keep unraveling this, but some information for you. If you can like, share, and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And thanks again.